And he would write a book, and he'd get $175 for a book. And he could write a book a month, you know, or 2 books a month, maybe, most. And then when we'd run out of money, we'd get into a pool game or a poker game. You know, this one. And so we'd travel around, and I would pull out my guitar wherever we went, and we'd make friends, you know, and we'd get into a terrible pool game or a horrible poker game. And I would sit next to him. He wanted me to sit next to him and concentrate, because if I sat next to him when he was playing, he did better. And I concentrated. And so while I would concentrate, I would draw and write and think, and so I would know, and I would tell him where we were going next. He depended on my intuition, which was great. I remember once we were going to Paris, and somehow we wound up in Oslo, because I was sitting next to him with the maps. So he depended on my intuition, but you know, other things I wasn't so good with. Anyway, I decided to go to Mallorca at some point, in the island of Mallorca, and I had family, the Tudurys, or you know, we had in Menorca, and so we went there to Mallorca. And I was playing. I pulled out my guitar, and an old man came up to me and he said, "You know, that old man, he must have been maybe 40, 41. Ancient old guy came up to me and he said, "You're my birthday present. You're my birthday present, Robert Graves." And I didn't know who Robert Graves was, but he was a poet. Some of you know, he wrote I, Claudius, which was a famous series that went, and he was a mythologist and a wonderful, you know, brilliant scholar and a classicist, and you know, just a great writer. Wonderful, wonderful man. And he was going to be 77. So I was going to be the birthday present. He wanted me to come and sing for him. So we went to Dea, this little town where he lived, and we decided to stay there in the pension. And I went to tea. An old Englishman asked me to come to tea. Another ancient guy, 44 maybe, and invited me to tea. And I had this feeling I was going to meet Robert. And sure enough, he walked in, and he's a big stately guy, 77 years old, I think, almost. And I was 22. And we fell instantly in love. It was one of those things. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and it was like, oh! And I have a photograph of us sitting there. Like, I'm just so happy. And there's a lot of talk about him. You might Google him, and they'll tell you about his muses and all this. But he was actually a very understated guy in this world in that way. I wasn't a muse, one of his muses. I was a young woman that he related to immediately for some reason, and we became very, very good friends. And he was not my boyfriend or Jesus Christ! I can hear you. I can hear you. No, he was just a wonderful man on his way out. You know, being kind and loving and very supportive to a young artist on her way in, and a young woman artist. I just adored him. Anyway, so we spent the summer together, and we do things. We go to the market, you know, or we go to the post office. I remember one time we went to the post office, and there were 3 letters in the post office for him. One from Moshe Dayan, inviting him to come to Israel, and one from what's his name, Mao Zedong, inviting him to China, and one from Queen Elizabeth. Saying, "How are you, Robert dear?" You know, and it was just, you know, really ridiculous. We laughed all the way home. And then he'd say things to me like, he had this wonderful, luminous, liminal way of looking at the world. He was leaving it, you know, but he loved it. He loved nature. He loved the world. They used him on the island to exorcise ghosts and stuff. You know, he was a powerful guy. He could see things happening. And he'd say to me, "Today, you shall be the moon. You shall be the embodiment of the feminine. You shall wear silver. And I shall be the sun. I shall embody the holy masculine. And I shall wear gold." You know, we're going to the market to get the bread. His wife is saying, "Get some eggs, get some bread." You know. So, anyway. When you think back to the valleys, the peaks of your life, you know, and you think of who was great, you know, who was, you know, in the valleys, you know, who's in the valleys, and in the valleys, thank you. And then you have the peaks up here, and he's definitely there for me. So just recently, not a few months ago, I started thinking about that, and I wanted to write a little song that sort of, for me. So anyway, it's just a small thing for Robert. stack of letters that he wrote me for years after I left. And I'm going to sell them really soon because I'm running out of money. And I know he'd want me to be, you know, happy. Moonlight, moonlight, silky and pale, I've come to dance with you tonight, wrapped in your silvery veil. Moonlight, moonlight, drench the shadows cast, and help me now to heal somehow, and leave it in the past. Ah, the hour is 15. High in the tan oak tree for if not for me. Moonlight, moonlight, tonight your face is full, and like the waves my soul behaves and obeys your gentle pull. Oh, the owl is hooting high in the tan oak tree for if not for me. Moonlight, moonlight, an older maiden now. I've come to you to renew our ancient sacred vow. I've come to you to renew our ancient sacred vow. Moonlight, moonlight.